Hey guys, Zem Zizzle back again for another Showdown Slate. So we got the Thursday night game, New England Patriots hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Not the best game in the world, but could turn into being somewhat entertaining if Indy can hang around a little bit more than Vegas believes that they will. But let's dive into this game, take a peek at kind of who we're going to target captains wise, and just how we kind of overall see the game script going. So Vegas has New England favored by 10 points right now. So heavy favorites in this game, kind of rightly so. They're at home. Indy has not looked great this year, although they've been hanging with pretty much everybody. But just not looking too good. New England hasn't looked great either, but last week they just put a total whooping on the Dolphins, and it seems like they may be getting things moving in the right direction. Big key for tonight, they get Edelman back, so that should open up things for Gronk and just give Brady another old reliable option to be able to throw the ball to, and can just open things up for some of the other guys in the team going forward. So when we look at kind of the captain slot, obviously Brady and Luck, I think, are both in play. I like both quarterbacks. I think that Tom has a big day, and I think Luck can end up having a big day, mostly just based on garbage time situations. I do believe New England wins this game somewhat comfortably. The 10 points is going to be close. I could see Indy kind of backdooring and covering that spread, but I do believe that New England will be up by a touchdown or two for most of this game, and that can bode well for Luck kind of having to come back and be able to rack up some garbage time passing yards and a touchdown or two, and that could be the difference between cashing or not, or taking down a big contest with him just getting some points at the end, because they're just going to be throwing and throwing and throwing. So I like both of them, but they're both expensive, obviously, so you'd have to kind of be able to go for some cheaper guys in the rest of your lineup, which there are some options that we'll get into. Gronk is going to play today, it looks like. That's coming out and being reported. Indy's not great against the tight end. Like I said, I think Edelman opens things up for him and will allow him to have more one-on-one matchups and just more room to work. That seems like in the first couple of weeks of the year, teams are just saying, I'm going to take Gronk out of the game, and there was no one else really on New England that could make them pay. But I think that Gronk's going to have more room to operate, less attention, and I think he's a really good play and could have a touchdown or two tonight. James White, Indy's not good against running backs, especially pass-catching running backs. If you look through the first couple weeks of the season, they've just been giving up tons of receptions to running backs. So James White's definitely someone to look at. Obviously, Sony Michel is going to be running the football, but James White catches tons of passes, and it seems like Tom Brady really trusts him. And you see last week, 10 targets, 8 catches, and he also will run the ball a little bit as well. So, I don't see him having a 30-point game like he did last week, especially with the game script that they probably get up big, and then Sony Michel is going to get more playing time to run the football, but Indy's not good against pass-catching running backs, so something that you definitely got to take into consideration there. T.Y. Hilton's out tonight, so we can ignore him. Josh Gordon, we just don't know what his role is yet. He's just, you want to throw him in a GPP lineup and take a flyer, totally get it, but so far it's just total mystery, so I'm not going there. Edelman, really, really like Edelman, especially for the captain slot. I think that he's going to get right back into things. Him and Tom have been playing together forever. They have that rapport. They know where each other's going to be, and they're in sync. That's kind of Tom's main guy, and I'm sure that Edelman's been chomping at the bit to get out there after being suspended for the first 4 weeks. So I love him a lot. He's maybe my favorite target for the captain slot, and we're taking into consideration the prices and kind of, I could see him, you know, Tom targets him so many times, and Indy is weak. They have an injury at the cornerbacks who usually cover the slot position, so they're going to be weak there. And Edelman's definitely someone that can take advantage of that. So him getting 10 to 12 targets, 100 yards, 7, 8 catches is very, very possible, and probably even likely. And if he gets into the end zone, then you really got a big day from Edelman. So for cash, I really, really like him in that captain side. For GPP, maybe not so much because he really doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. But for cash, when we're just trying to get that high floor, I think that Edelman's pretty much a lock to get you a good, solid base of points there. Tony Michel, we saw the breakup from him last week. If you see 112 yards and a touchdown, so really solid game from him. Maybe that gets him going. He got 25 carries. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw another game like this where Miami just, like the Miami game where New England just destroys the Colts, and then that's why Michel was getting 25 carries. So I do like him as well. And then some other flyers that I could see you taking in the captain side is Nyheim Hines. He really got involved. 11 targets, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns last week. I think he's going to be the guy at running back, especially in this game. They're going to be down, and he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. Andrew Luck's not throwing the ball down the field much, so check down guys are perfect for him, and Hines is someone that he definitely likes, and you saw that last week. Ebron, he's going to get the ball a lot because Luck loves the tight end. And then Ryan Grant's going to be the number 1 receiver for Indy this week because of Hilton's out. So if this game gets out of hand and they're throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing, Grant's going to be getting tons of targets. So he's someone to consider. And Rodgers as well, who's going to be the number 2 tonight. And now something crazy that you could do that I'm considering for a couple lineups is going with Zach Pascal at captain. He's the number 3 target, but he got 10 targets last week, 6 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. He's 2,000 and goes up to 3K at the captain spot. Why not? Then you could pretty much pick who you want for the rest of your lineup. And if this game turns into where Andrew Luck's throwing, Pascal's going to get some targets as well. And, for that cheap of a price to be able to get anyone else you want Gronk, you want Luck, you want Brady, you want Edelman, you could throw them all in there. They all fit. So that's another option. So I think there's a lot of ways to go. We touched on it, our favorites, probably Edelman, Gronk, and the quarterbacks for the captain slot. But all the other guys we mentioned, especially if you're doing a mass entry type strategy where you're going to be putting in, 50 lineups tonight, have some exposure to some of the other guys we mentioned at the captain slot as well, and just kind of play around with it. So, if we go to the flex, pretty much all the guys I talked about already are the guys I'm going to target for flex positions as well. I want one of the quarterbacks definitely in my lineup. I mentioned I love Edelman, so I'm going to really have tons of him. And then these pass catches for Indy. So Hines and Grant and Rodgers, Pascal. You could do Ebron. I just see this game getting out of hand, and Luck's going to have to throw. And he does seem to spread the ball around to a bunch of different guys, and they're not too expensive. If you look at their price points here, 6,200, 6,000, and Pascal, like we said already, all the way down here at 2K. So why not go there? The kickers are also in play, like we always say. I prefer Gostkowski to Vinatieri, but either will do if you want to, save some money and just get a couple points from each. Definitely possible. Defenses, definitely avoiding the Colts. Don't want any part of them. Just can't see them being successful tonight. Patriots, again, I could see it in a GPP where, like I said, it's a 38-7 game and they just kick the shit out of the Colts. But I think there's some other cheaper options that I don't know that you have to go there, but I wouldn't say you're nuts for doing the Patriots defense. All right, so let's kind of build out a lineup here. Let's throw Edelman in the captain slot. So let's go over here. We'll throw Edelman in. Let's try to get Tom with him. And let's come down. Let's throw Pascal in the lineup. Let's throw one of these pass catchers. Let's go with Grant. And then we got 88.50 for these two slots. If we go with Gronk, leaves us 7,900. We could then go with the Sony Michel. I think that's a good lineup. Or you could come down and say, I'm going to go James White. That kind of leaves you in the same position. You could do Andrew. Let's see if we could throw Andrew Luck in there. And then you could do, you could do a Hogan or a Rodgers. This lineup is a little too Indy heavy for me. Obviously, we get Edelman and Brady, and you're really praying that the Colts just start throwing the ball around late and just racking up garbage time points, which could be a winning strategy. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's too much Colts. I'd like to be a little bit more on the Patriots. I don't mind having one or two guys from Indy, but if I can go more Patriots, it'd be better in my opinion. Let's say I do a Gronk and then maybe Sony Michel. And then, I have Brady, Edelman, and Gronk, so they got the main pass catchers for Tom. The game gets out of hand, we're going to get the Sony Michel points, and then we still have Grant and Pascal to take advantage of what we feel is going to be some garbage time air yardage for Andrew Luck. So I think that's a solid way to do it. And I just want to show you kind of if we go a little crazy here and get very creative and throw Pascal in the captain slot, 9,400. So you can go Tom, Luck. Let's do Edelman, Hines, Sony Michel. That's another way to do it. You can go all the way there. You can do, Gronk. Let's even see if we do Gronk and Edelman. Gronk and Edelman. You could do Gronk and Edelman. Pascal. You can do Brady, Luck, Gronk, Edelman, and you still can then do Hogan. Or you could go the kicker, Gostkowski. You really gives you a lot of options. If you do that, you just can load up. So those are kind of two strategies that I'm going to attack, just to give you guys another, idea of maybe how to go about constructing a lineup with Pascal to differentiate a little bit, and maybe not get this huge captain score, but you get all the points from this game because you just got all the big dogs in there. So, that's kind of my thoughts on this one. If you enjoyed the video, like would be greatly appreciated. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video going over the weekend slate. So I'll talk to you guys then. Peace.